There's a chair right there. Oh.
Okay.
Let's see. Thomas, right? Hey, have a seat, Thomas. Thomas is from the Stream Academy Charter School. Glad you could make it. And certainly, you know, we try to get anybody here who's interested in talking about, you know, education, whether it's central office or charter schools or whatever.
But you're talking community and you're talking neighborhood, and that's what it's about.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that we have to, and I was talking with Thomas on the phone a while back there, and as we talked about what the charter schools are trying to do, and you know, they make use of the busing that the city school provides. And right now, the way they're putting charter schools together, they're putting together the same model that's apt to fail because of parents being, you know, separated from the schools. Yeah. And we've got to avoid that, because it does no one any good, even if they aren't in love with charter schools, to have a charter school fail. You want to have every school that's out there succeed and be good for the kids. And I'd like to see, you know, the charter schools that do move into the neighborhood move in where we have a need for schools there, because there are too many kids to fit into the neighborhood schools in the city district. There are things we can do cooperatively that may be helpful for everybody. Okay, let me cover a couple of more things. As I mentioned in the initial part where we were talking about the school choice policy, one of the things that was obvious there was that if we do get back to neighborhood schools, looking through, you know, we need to really know what the situation is in today's, like this map that you've all probably seen. This goes back about 10 years, because it, you know, that was when they had this data. And probably with the school choice right now, where they're busing kids all over there, they haven't been worrying too much about how many are there in each area. No. So we really need to update that sort of information to see where we're going to be when we try going back to neighborhood schools, if indeed that is what the task force ends up pushing for. But as I was, you know, and Ralph Spezio is doing a nice job of pushing towards the community accredited school model, which we've been trying to do for 4 years now, since he first sensitized us to that desire. And maybe through the task force effort, we'll start having the school district thinking about having the neighborhoods be more involved in selecting principals and stuff of that nature. If we end up, you know, and right now in the 19th Ward, we've got 4 schools, 29, 10, 16, and 44, which could be neighborhood schools. 10 currently isn't. It's a citywide draw school. There was talk at the task force that, you know, we probably should be looking at having those be sector schools, so that they're not citywide draw, but only draw from the Southwest. If they do get back to a more neighborhood school type configuration, then we're still going to be challenged to fit all the kids we've got. According to this, there were 500 at 29, 565 at 44, 1,066 between 16 and 10. Those are kids in those neighborhoods that are attending city schools somewhere. Now, we can probably reduce that by 10 or 15, 20%, because this is 10 years old. There's been some draw down from the charter schools that have been coming in, and maybe the child population has been going down. But still, that's more room, that's probably more kids than you can fit into those schools if you have them all coming from the neighborhood. Right now, they've been avoiding having to worry about that because they're busing them all over creation. So you bus the kids to wherever the schools are. Unfortunately, that means that parents can't be as involved with the school as they would be. Now, we hope that the parents are going to be involved with their schools if it's in the neighborhood.
The busing issue too, aside from making it difficult for the parents to get to the schools, I was at a program that was having a one-on-one with a couple of police officers from RPD, and they mentioned specifically that was one of the things they were asking about, what would make things safer here, and that was one of the main suggestions that this officer said is that we got to stop busing. His opinion was that we got to stop busing these kids all over creation, because what happens is you put kids from one side of the city in a different part of the city, and you end up with all these conflicts. Whereas like if you keep them in their own neighborhood, it seems like they're more likely to get along a little bit better.
Good point.
What meeting was that?
It was a Minority Leadership Academy meeting at University of Rochester, and they brought in two minority police officers to kind of talk about the state of sort of race relations. It was kind of like an open conference. One of them was Laurent Singletary, and I can't remember who the other officer who came in was. But it was definitely a good meeting.
Yeah, and that's, there are a lot of things that, you've probably all seen this chart here where this is 17 if it was all drawing from its neighborhood, and this is where all the kids are coming from now. So you've got this dispersion all over the city, and you start looking at that and saying, these kids are going home, and what's the chances they're going to be able to play with the kids they met at school that day?
Right.
And do the parents get to meet each other?
Yep.
It's very destructive to the neighborhood. And and that's one of the things that I was saying, if we're going to have charter schools opening up, it'd be nice to have them open up where we need to have some extra school spaces and to draw only neighborhood kids so that you don't run into the same problem the district's having. Because if you copy what the district's got, you're going to have the same thing. No matter how many contracts you draw up with parents saying you have to be at school X number of times a week. If they got to take 3 buses to get there, it's not going to happen. So, anyways, there are a lot of things that the folks who are skeptical of charter schools will point to that are, that have to be addressed. What are the regulations that you folks are going to have, and what guarantees that the kids are going to be able to stay in the school, and you work through the problems with the kids, not just bounce them back into the city school if they're having difficulties. But we need to make all the schools successful
and equitable. And I can say that I was on the board at Urban Choice Charter School for about 5 years, and one of my priorities was the discipline ladder. So when you talk about, taking a child from a charter school and putting them back into the Rochester City School District, I've seen that as well, being a part of the Rochester City School District. And a lot of times those children aren't as successful as you would expect them to be with whatever foundation, right? So we do know that it is really important to be as fair and equitable as possible. So it's not about taking a child and saying, okay, you don't have any other alternative, but let's see what we can do to work with you and to work with your family. So, with STEAM Academy Charter School, what we're looking to do is really engage the community and families. And I have experience with that through my graduate studies, through my work in the Rochester City School District, through my work at Urban Choice Charter School, through my work in the various community organizations throughout the city, Baden Street, the YMCA. Okay. So I'm very vested in making sure that our students have what they need, as well as their families. So what I'm looking to do, so I'm not going to take the stage tonight, but I'd like to be able to come back to the next meeting and provide an overview of STEAM Academy. Pretty much every Sunday, we write for about 6 hours. And what that means is, there's a little mix. So we write and do a little bit of research as well. But we really want to make sure that what we do is data driven. We're looking at comparative schools. We're doing comparative school studies right now. So looking at the schools in Southwest Rochester and looking at, K2, kind of what their successes are, what their struggles are, and then look at our model of education, which is heavy in literacy, which is heavy in math and science, heavy in enrichment and expeditionary learning, but then also heavy in parent engagement. So we did some work. My children actually participated in the Southwest Family Resource Center. I'm not sure if they're still at St. Mary's Hospital down there, but a part of that program, was as parents, of the children that were in that preschool program, we had to participate in monthly, I think it may have even been bi-weekly parent meetings. And at the time, my wife was in graduate school. She's a special education math teacher now. So she was in graduate school for education. I was finishing up my business degree at RIT. So it could have been easy for me to say, why do I need to come and sit in these meetings, because we know it all, right?
Yeah, all right.
We're in school. But the beauty in it was we were able to learn things that we didn't know from parents, some of the issues that they may have been having. We were able to refer other families to other services that we had access to. So a part of the program my wife and I eventually went through at Nazareth College was it was a teacher training program to put minority teachers, highly qualified minority teachers, in front of minority students. And we connected people to that program. So the exchange of information and knowledge and just the ability to socialize, it really did make a difference. And I see some of those parents now, and their children are doing pretty good. They're doing pretty good now. Where the data is over at the Children's Institute, and that's one of my primary focuses as well. Taking that data to substantiate what we do at STEAM Academy Charter
What's the
School.
Children's
Where's
Institute?
The Children's Institute, they apparently, so when my children were at the Southwest Family Resource Center, as parents, we had to do surveys and research. So those bi-weekly parent meetings, those were all conducted by some agency, and then the children were tracked, and then that data, based on the information that I received, is now at the Children's Institute.
Which is
So-
where?
And that's what I have to find out.
Village
So
Gate.
is it in
Village Gate,
Village
yeah.
Gate?
Okay.
So
And that's that's under the wing of the U of R, the mental
Right.
health.
Dirk Hightower
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
is a good
Primary mental health project, I
Yeah.
think.
But it's that
originated at what it was before.
okay. Yeah, and what we're looking for again. So I have my passions and the things that I want to see. So one of the things that I really wanted to focus on was starting 7th grade, and up, because that's where a lot of the struggles are.
Right.
Some of my own personal struggles were in middle school. So, I know what those challenges are. But the data suggests that by the time the kids get to 7th
Late.
grade, it's way too late.
Exactly.
It's way too late. So what does that foundation look like? What does the data say has worked in the past? And that's really where we want to go. I mean, we'll use some gut and we'll use a little bit of intuition, maybe about 10%
Yeah.
to 90% data or something like that. But we really think that we'll be able to, make a significant impact in education.
Where's your school located?
We're still working on all of that. So our
so you
open
haven't-
day, no, right now
okay.
we're working on the
Oh, okay.
proposal.
Okay, got it.
So we're looking at an open date of fall
Is your last name
2018.
Felton?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I heard about this in the
Yes.
Southwest Common Council.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. So you don't have a place yet.
No,
Are
and
you
we
looking into the Southwest?
we are.
Great.
Yes, we are.
Excellent.
You want a
Because
school
we are
that's empty?
the best.
We want to school
want
that's
school.
empty. Yeah. And
Well, I mean, I know one on Charlie Avenue.
oh, do you really?
Yeah, it's been empty for 5 years.
Really?
Is that the
Well-
one next to the church?
Yeah.
They're
I
fixing
think
it
yeah,
up.
they're.
What
I
are
think
they
they're
I don't
fixing
know.
that.
There's a
Yeah, I think
charter
the
school
church-
going in there.
Yeah, there's
Is that what
yeah.
it is?
Is
What's
that
going
is that
in?
Uncommon
charter
Schools? The schools from Maple Street over
Yeah.
there is moving there.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think
School from
yeah,
Maple, is that a
Street.
charter school on
Yes,
Maple
ma'am.
Street?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Well, I'm glad they're starting to use the building. I mean,
Yeah.
just
What,
sitting there.
what building is that?
St. Augustine's old school on
Oh,
Charlie
yeah,
Avenue.
sure.
Yeah, they're putting new windows and everything in there.
Oh, wow. What is the
Yeah.
name? I'm a little confused. You said the STEAM charter school?
STEAM Academy Charter School. So Rochester STEAM Academy Charter School. So STEAM is it's like STEM,
Yeah.
right?
They
But it
added
throws the
the
A in there, and the A
For
so,
arts.
for arts.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
So when you talk about arts, I can remember when my daughter was at Urban Choice Charter School. Her teacher had a brother that worked for Puma, and the sneaker company.
Yeah.
They, like Nike.
Oh.
Yeah, Puma is a running shoe. But she had the kids sketching out their own version of Pumas and things like that or whatever. And then when you get into the arts, really what you're talking about is like the aesthetics of your phone,
Right,
the look and
right.
feel of your phone. So we really want the kids to start thinking about, how it all kind of works together, art and science and technology.
So there is an urban choice charter school already?
There is an Urban Choice Charter School where I was on the board, yes.
Okay, and then what you want to start is urban choice STEAM
No,
charter
I
school?
want to
No.
start Rochester STEAM Academy
Oh,
Which
Charter
one?
School.
Which will
Doesn't
do
exist
something
yet.
different?
Different.
It'll do.
It
doesn't exist.
Okay.
It doesn't
He's
exist.
working
Just a
on it.
real
Yeah,
quick one.
thank you.
Where would you get your funding from? Where are you looking to get your funding from?
Well, we're gonna look at the Farish Foundation. We did a little bit of talking to them, but then we're really gonna put our budget together based on that state allocation. But then also, we'll do some fundraising. as
Okay,
well.
and have you talked to Greg Rice at all?
No,
You must.
Greg Rice.
Greg Rice, and he's on. You can get him on Facebook too. But he's the guy that puts together the cars,
Solar cars.
the solar cars, and he's like real big into women in technology, minorities in technology, and he does hands-on projects. And
There was
he's
something somewhere I saw.
yeah in the
The
Southwest Common
solar,
Council.
the solar car?
Yeah, it's a solar car. It's an active car right now, and there's other cars that kids make, and that's how they learn science,
Wow.
technology, math. And
Yeah.
he's also doing the art structure with kids. That's proposed for Cottage Street in South Plymouth. The park over there. It's called Legacy Park Station. Station Park. And what it is to take all the African Americans in the area who have contributed to our community and to highlight them in that park. And there's a huge metal sculpture that he
Wow.
wants them to help design. That could
Wow.
fuse you into the Southwest.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's Greg Rice.
Greg Rice.
And then you had mentioned a Dirk earlier too.
We just got
Hightower.
Greg on to the task force, so
Beautiful.
Who is
Beautiful.
Dirk
good at it.
Hightower?
Dirk Hightower is the guy
Executive
that's with
Director.
Children's, Executive Director of Children's Institute. Children's Institute helped Swan for many years collect all their data, and when you go to funders, they want to see the data.
Right.
And so I want to connect with you because Prosper Rochester is working with Farish on helping people start their own employment, like jobs, entrepreneurs, new entrepreneurs.
Math
They
Fair?
just won Prosper Rochester. We just had Rock Soup where we funded a small project. Projects had to,
Rock soup.
yeah, Rochester Soup.
Soup made with rock.
And they had, and community people came up with
Rock like
projects,
Rochester.
and they had
Oh,
to
thank
present
you.
these projects at a dinner, and all the money that was raised at that dinner
Yeah.
went to the winner. And then we got a grantor to match the funds, so they walked home with $500, and all the planters on West Main Street right now have been painted, and they're gonna be putting food in them. That's their project.
Amazing.
And so that is the kind of thing we would like to
Yeah.
connect with you on.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And so
Absolutely.
Farish is the one that brought us Rock Soup.
Okay.
So that's another Farish connection,
Good.
Is that Max
Good.
Farish?
I think. so.
Very- yeah,
Yeah,
Isabel
Farish
Goldman
Foundation.
is the one who brought it
Yeah.
to
The
us.
real
Yeah,
estate.
yeah.
So we need to connect
Isabel,
too.
yeah.
Next.
So I'll make sure you have mine.
Max is gone.
Let me have the attendance sheet.
So the other thing that I want to touch base on a bit is the AQE Metro Justice. Just a few words, since they've been real good at. That's another education committee that I've been
Right.
involved in. They've been doing a lot of work with School 44,
Yes, they have.
and we've got 2 of their members on the task force, so hopefully they'll be involved there. And they're nice because you can always get them to go and demonstrate about something.
Today.
So if
Wow.
things aren't going well, you can get them to get some
Yeah.
rabble rousing going on. So we've got there are several links in the email that you got on this. If you follow those links, it shows some of the pictures of when they were over at School 44 for a press conference, and they helped get 175 million. But I'm not sure how many schools that
Right,
gets divided
right, yeah.
amongst. So how many dollars School 44 gets out of that, whether it's 1,000 or $1 million or I don't know. But they're a real good bunch, and they're having a rally tomorrow at central office at the school board, 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
So if you can make it there, some of us are on this EET meeting for School 44.
I got a swim board meeting.
You got a vote meeting, okay.
And what's the rally for?
Yeah, what's it?
It's their
Discipline.
Discipline.
for
Hall?
discipline for the new code of conduct,
Oh,
which is
so if you wear the wrong hat, or you wear any hat, you might be asked to leave.
trying to try to decriminalize as much as possible the code of conduct that they have, so that you don't take kids that are being kids and turn them into hoods because you treat them like hoods.
Yeah, and that's another. So even to finish what I was saying at Urban Choice, one of my priorities, there was a discipline ladder. So say if a kid got in trouble, there's like 3 strikes. So strike 1, strike 2, and then say he doesn't get any trouble for 2 or 3, years or something like that, or whatever. Once that 3rd strike comes, that's it. There's no way to kind of get out of that. There wasn't a way to get out of that discipline ladder. And, I really had an issue with that because, we're not perfect, right? And we're talking about children at the end of the day. So that was definitely, one of my things. And the discipline policy can be a little bit tricky. So I'm not sure what the slants are, but being in the district, we've seen a lot of different scenarios.
The
A lot of
commissioners on the restorative justice
Yeah,
road.
yeah,
So,
yeah. And I've done quite a bit of restorative justice work,
Yeah.
but it does get it's a tricky conversation.
it is
And we definitely don't want to throw the kids into the
the bus.
yeah.